Recording. Sync test. What's up, everybody? This is Ben.
This is Andrew.
We are the Electric Suns, and we're doing another rewind for our new track, Real Life.
Audio check. Syncing. What's up, folks? I'm Andrew, and I'm going to be taking you through the vocal production on this track, so let's dive right in. When we first began tracking this, there was a little bit of a snag in getting it to sit consistently with the rest of the song vocally. The overall vocal register is pretty dynamic in this track. I can have a pretty low voice, but I can also have a pretty high voice. I got a pretty good falsetto. You can hear it right here.
It was summer. I was only 17.
We had to make sure that we could get that to sit nicely with the tracks when I'm yelling and screaming and jumping around. Overall, we have...
It was summer. I was only 17.
this really wonderful, intimate take that sits nicely with the rest of the track and starts this song off in a way that pulls you in. But Tomas over at Maze is a magician, and we ended up tracking it through a Neumann U47, through a bunch of other amazing magic equipment that they've got over there at Maze. We ended up recording the backing vocals and all the harmonies here in this very room. Not on this microphone, because that'd be insane, but it was on an AKG C414B through Universal Audio 6176. And I'm very happy with the way it all came together, even though they were tracked in different spaces. After we had tracked the vocals, got it back here, wanted to try and add a little bit of something extra, something that maybe you wouldn't hear in a typical love ballad from the 80s. As I was layering vocals on, I kind of found this vocoder effect that was interesting. It was kind of otherworldly effect that I think the song kind of needed in that space. For some reason, you don't really know where these things come from, but it felt right, and I'm happy with the way it turned out.
It was summer. I was only 17.
I think some of those tensions in the harmony gives that section a little bit of something else, a little edge that is less plain, less vanilla, less typical. I'm really pleased with how that surfaced. And like I said, you don't really know where the stuff comes from. Just chase it down. So I know you're all seeing it and hearing it and judging me on it, but there is auto-tune on these vocal tracks, and I'm not ashamed of it. We use it all the time. And in fact, it's an incredible tool. We're making art. You use them to make the best thing you can. With this particular track, auto-tune is a lot more modern, especially with this harmony section. The harmonies being a little more perfect than you would really ever hear gives it that sort of vocoder effect, which is what we were angling at. It's all about using the tools to make your art the best it can be. A lot of times we will put tune on the lead vocal to make sure that that's a little more solid than the rest of the track, because that's who you're speaking to. It's who you're having the conversation with. But the background vocals will leave really loose because it actually adds a nice thickness. So those imperfections can end up being the thing you need in a moment to really make it feel right. If everything's just so perfect and sterile, you're not really going to feel any emotion at all. You don't want to use it too much, but just enough to where anything that is bad is not distracting and anything that's good is not lost. So I really want to talk about the transition from the second verse to the second pre-chorus. It was a really cool moment for me as a vocalist because I'm usually very siloed in this room, tinkering, whatever I feel, but I always tend to do that by myself. In this situation, we did record at Maze, and I had a couple people in the booth listening to my take as it was happening. Every single thing that I'm singing, every bad note, everything, and it's really easy to get into your head. It's the next closest thing to actually being on stage and performing, except in this situation, they're actually judging every single note because they hear everything so clearly. There was this one section where it was like, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. At one point, I think it was either Tomas or Ben, gave me the note that I'm not feeling it from you. It was really a great way to give feedback because it was just vague enough and specific enough for me to interpret what I would want to do if I weren't hearing that. Here's the section right here.
I'm not coming back, but I hope you know I'll always remember the time.
It was the perfect feedback for me in that moment. It really forced me into a place to where I needed to think about the characters, become an actor for a second. What are these characters feeling? What am I not saying that they are feeling? in this part of the song. It wasn't about technical perfection in that moment, but it was more about tapping into the emotional center of the characters, the emotional core of that moment. Like I've mentioned in the past, you don't want it to be distracting, but your pitch doesn't have to be perfect every single time, especially if it's in exchange for feeling that emotion. That's what people really want, is to feel what you're saying. It was a real game-changing experience for me while I was tracking this, because it really bled into the rest of the track, and I think it improved my performance for the whole song after that. So that's it. We hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes, this rewind of our new track, Real Life. Please like, subscribe, comment, ask us questions. We'll do our best to respond as quickly as we can. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye,
Faster than the speed of light. You were looking back.